Now, 20 years ago, fresh out of college, I got my first real job selling insurance and investments. I even got to wear a suit and tie to work, which was the only thing that I ever wanted. My bar was pretty low. Now, at this first job, straight out of college, I learned all kinds of ways that one could conceivably build a market from basically nothing and build it into this referral marketing machine that just goes on autopilot, and it could sustain you and your business for as long as you wanted it to. And for any career in sales, whether you're selling insurance, widgets, or even wedding photography, that is your first task, building that market, finding your prospects, getting your products and your services in front of people so they will eventually buy it. Now, when you're 22, where the hell are you gonna find those first prospects? The company that I work for told me to just prospect inside my warm market, which is just a fancy way of saying, go out there and bother your friends and your family and get them to buy whatever it is that you're trying to sell. Overnight, I had essentially become a 22-year-old version of an 8-year-old Girl Scout selling cookies to her friends and her family. Could it work? Possibly. Now, did I believe in my product? 100%. I absolutely believed in my product. And I knew that my product was gonna do some good in the world. But did I do it? Did I hit up my friends and my family for some business? Absolutely not. For a number of reasons. The first one was, I didn't want to be that guy. That guy who shows up out of nowhere, and that guy whom you haven't seen in 10, 15 years, and now I've got something to sell you. This interaction has the ultimate goal of helping me, the salesperson, more than it does you. Sure, my products and services might help you, but it helps me and my bank account way, way more. And people get these icky, salesy vibes right away when you show up from out of nowhere. And to be quite honest, I didn't want my friends and family running for the hills whenever they saw me coming down the street. I sort of kind of like my friends and my family, and God willing, I like to keep them around for a little while longer. And the second reason why I didn't prospect my warm market was because there were a million other ways that I could prospect in a cold market, which is my preferred way of marketing. Whether it's cold calling, canvassing, seminars, trade shows, or even paid leads, there are a billion ways that I can get my name, my products, and my services out there in front of eyeballs. And if that sale didn't happen, there would be no hard feelings. Me and this complete stranger, we'd go our separate ways, and I'd never have to see them again. Now, on the other hand, if this sale did not go through with my friends or family members, that next Thanksgiving dinner or that next birthday party was gonna be hella awkward. And that's one thing that I didn't want. And lastly, I knew that this was the insurance company's shtick. They'd get all these new recruits to sell to their friends and family, knowing that 85% of them would never succeed past their first year, and they would go ahead and find other jobs. But these clients would then remain with the company. These insurance companies had nothing to lose, and I didn't want to give them that satisfaction of having my friends and family still attached to them in the off chance that it didn't work out with me and them in the end. This meant cold marketing was it for me. Now, I'm sure you guys have all had that one friend who started their at-home business, whether they're selling skincare products, health supplements, life insurance, or even wedding or family photography. Now, it's one thing for them to actively sell and market their products on their feeds, and you could just mute them, right? Problem solved. And it's another when they start to slide into your DMs. Do you think that you're washing your face properly? I think that I've got an amazing product, and I think that it'll help you. I mean, that's great and all. I'm happy that you're starting this side hustle, but sorry, unfortunately, I don't want or need your offer. I'm pretty good in that department. Now, if you were the small business owner on the other end of that interaction who was trying to hustle your way all the way to the top, that kind of rejection sucks. I know it sucks. The unfortunate truth is that kind of rejection, you're gonna get that a lot, and it's gonna suck big time because you're going about it all wrong. If you continue on your path, could you succeed? Could you succeed by sheer force of will? Well, yes, you could. It might take a while, and it'll take a whole lot of rejection, but it can be done. I've seen others do it. My own father, who sold chicken door to door for over 20 years, he did it that way and was wildly successful. Now, what if I could tell you there's an easier way? The solution is attraction marketing. Now, if you ever fed squirrels at the park, you'll know that it's much easier to get the squirrel to come to you than it is for you to go to it. Those prospects that you have floating in your orbit, they don't want to be caught because they don't want to be trapped with something that they didn't want in the first place, your products or services. The first rule of sales is that the prospects don't want to be sold, but they love to buy. This means any purchasing decisions that they make have to happen on their terms. You as a salesperson can guide them towards that conclusion, but that decision is ultimately theirs to make. So how do you do this? Well, if you want to catch a squirrel, the first thing you've got to do is show up every day. So that way they know that you exist and they can keep an eye on you and determine for themselves if you are someone that they can trust. Once you start showing up for a little while, that's when you throw out your bait. Give them something that they want. Dangle it in front of them. Let them see it, touch it, feel it, smell it. Now, they might not take it the first time, the second time, or even the 10th time. But if you know that it's something that they want, they will take it eventually. Where people screw this part up is that they don't know what this squirrel wants. Imagine if you go to the park and you start throwing tacos at the squirrel. The pigeons and the rats might have a go at it, but that squirrel probably wants to have nothing to do with that taco. It's the wrong bait for the wrong target. You had a miscalculation in your own mind that your delicious taco was something that the squirrel wanted, but it wasn't. Am I right? So if you're sick and tired of having the door shut on your face whenever you're trying to make a sales pitch, or you're sick and tired of people ghosting your DMs or running away every time they see your face, here's what you can do to sell and market your photography or whatever it is that you're selling the easy way. The first part is easy. Just show up. Show up every single day, or at the very least, show up once a week. And when you do show up, don't just talk about business. Talk about other things. Whether it's engaging with your friends and your family on social, not talking about business, but about them instead. Or maybe you can even post up on your feeds about what you are up to. You just need to show up in an organic, natural way. You just need to stay top of mind. Your end goal here is to ensure that people know that you exist and that you're not just popping up out of nowhere and only when you have something to sell. You don't think my friends already know that I'm a professional wedding photographer? They absolutely do. But I don't put that in their faces every chance that I get. I might post a selfie at work, maybe a BTS reel of myself every now and then, but I don't really promote myself on my personal social media accounts. People get to see the real me outside of a work environment, and sometimes that does more of the selling than you can possibly imagine. The second thing that you've got to do is stop pitching everyone you see. You're just harassing everyone at this point. You've got to have something that your prospects actually want. You have to create desire for the thing that you want to sell. You've got to get people to want it and need it, and you don't accomplish that by shoving it in their faces at every opportunity that you get. Your prospects, they need to want it. They've got to want it, they've got to desire it on their own terms with no sales pitch, no strings attached. So how do you do it? Well, you've got to figure out what it is that they want in the first place. You're not going to go to the park throwing sushi at the squirrels. They're not going to respond very well to that. Sunflowers and peanuts, on the other hand, now we're talking. You've got to understand your audience. You've got to understand who you're talking to. Then if you're smart, you'll know exactly what you need to show, not only to grab their attention, but to keep it and to get them to do what you want them to do in the end. Last but not least, you've got to serve your audience with the stuff that's going to help them at every opportunity that you get, even when there's no sale to be made at that very moment. And what I mean by serving them is not by saying something like, hey, I think this lotion is going to make your skin look fabulous, or I think this business opportunity is going to change your life. Because when you're saying those kind of things, you are actually selling something. Your offer has to be one where there's no strings attached. Otherwise, their guard's going to be up and they're not going to be receptive to whatever it is that you're trying to put in front of them. So how do I do it for my business? Well, sometimes I might put out a blog post for future brides about planning a wedding day itinerary. Maybe on a wedding day, I'm taking photos of the best man and his girlfriend. Maybe it's a complimentary headshot for the sales team at your local wedding venue. In all those instances, there is no sale to be made at those very moments. In any of those cases, you've got to get into that mindset of how can I serve my audience? What do they need help with? What are their pain points? What are they struggling with? Serve them with those solutions in a way that's meaningful for them. Without any strings attached, you'll get your sale. You won't have to chase them because eventually they're going to come find you on their own terms, which at the end of the day is exactly what we're trying to do. Anyway, I hope that in today's video, you guys learned to appreciate the art of not sliding into people's DMs with the end goal of trying to sell them something. I hope that you guys also learned that it's much more effective if you serve them first. Come from a mindset of service, kindness, and sincerity. People don't usually like to be sold stuff, but they'll be happy to buy from you if you play your cards right, if you don't come across as a sleazy car salesman. Now, if you guys enjoyed today's video, please remember to like, comment, share, and subscribe, and invite your friends to the party. As always, thank you guys all so much for watching, and I will see you guys at the next one. Bye.